All right, so I totally do this also, but I would love to see us move towards not apologizing for our boundaries. Hi, I'm Samantha Bitty, sexual health and consent educator and Ghostbuster. Today's lesson is in ethics. We are going to demystify why only yes means yes, i.e. informed consent, and to establish that as something that is totally normal, totally sexy, and fun. I usually define consent as an invitation into an experience. Informed consent, which can be a little more nuanced, is when everybody has all the pieces of the puzzle in order to see a clear picture, make a sound decision of either yes, no, or maybe later. Sometimes those pieces of information are really obvious, like someone who's poly and has a partner, they would let someone know, I have a partner, I'm only available for this type of relationship, etc. And sometimes it's not so clear, like where we're entitled to privacy or when we're assessing risk for another person. For example, if you have genital warts and you won't necessarily transmit it to someone or not, like, do you still need to disclose? To preface, any discussions of consent are always going to be intersectional and will rely on assessing things like power dynamics, safety, and risk. Only you can do that for you. But let's look to some principles found in ethics. Autonomy, the right or condition of self-government. In other words, I can do what I want. In practice, this looks like, I want to smash, I only have sex using condoms. Or if something's going down and you find yourself not that into it, you can say, I want to switch it up, this isn't really working for me. All right, so I totally do this also, but I would love to see us move towards not apologizing for our boundaries. As an aside, we can totally want what someone doesn't have to give, but we aren't entitled to it and we can't resent them or punish them for it. Justice. Let's understand justice as a desire for peace, equity, and reciprocity. Justice looks like getting on the same page as somebody, matching their energy, not making assumptions about their education or knowledge or lack thereof of something that's relevant to making an informed decision about something y'all are trying to do. Be humble, ask questions. For example, I don't know what that STI or position is. Can you explain it to me? Or ask them to define what they mean by casual sex. Non-maleficence, which is a fancy way of saying actively not doing harm. This is where we find disclosures that might feel more challenging or put us at risk for rejection. For example, disclosing a positive status for a highly stigmatized STI. And if you're not sure what that means, you can learn all about it in our social studies lesson. Even if that seems difficult, just remember that we have so many communication skills that we use in day-to-day life to help ourselves and others mitigate risks. COVID-19, it's taught a lot of us a lot about balancing our own wants and needs and well-being with that of the well-being of our greater community. Beneficence, which is to take action in the benefit of others. Proactive empathy and kindness, if you will. What this looks like is treating it as normal to discuss our wants, needs, boundaries before, during, and after sex, as well as throughout relationships. So often, how someone treats us after we've gotten down has a huge impact on how we feel about the overall encounter. For example, we can have super fun sex with someone, and then if they ghost us, how we feel about that sex can be pretty different. Yes, this requires some fearlessness, but it also just makes sense. What feels good, what we're into, it can change. Just how we learned in our drama lesson that sex is an experience, it is revealed to us through context and chemistry. It's ongoing. That's exciting. Consent is so sexy. So all of that sounds really good. What are the barriers to informed consent? Things like oppressive gender norms, fear of rejection, a lack of capacity for rejection, entitlement. These systems aren't broken, they're built this way. Consent culture, however, it is an alternative way of living in relation to ourselves and others. It's about taking an approach to viewing situations that reflect on power dynamics. It's about asking questions, accepting rejection, and fundamentally establishing and acting from values that are rooted in autonomy, empathy, mutual respect, pleasure, and whatever else is important to you. What it looks like in practice is redeploying all those communication skills you already have. And the more we do it, the more we practice, the less awkward, the more casual, the more sexy it becomes. You can find your homework on slice.ca.